my first show basically completely oblivious. 'Cause like I said, he was out of state. So I actually did my first show by myself, backstage by myself. It was definitely an experience. No one told me about the tanning part.
Yeah, the tanning part, they tell you, get butt naked. So,
Yeah, listen. When I first showed, I said, "Do what?"
yeah. Well,
So
some would
now
do, back
when
then,
some
used
people
to, go ahead.
when some people inquire about bodybuilding, I let them know all the ins and I'm like, yeah, nobody told me about this part. Nobody told me about that part. The money that goes into it, the dedication that goes into it, the consistency, all of the surprises, like I said, with the tanning when you get there. But the people are so amazing. You almost don't know that you're butt naked in front of strangers.
I don't
They are
know.
like Protan, usually it's Protan, like they are so amazing, like with making you feel comfortable and everything. Like it's crazy. I've
I,
got my confidence has skyrocketed since I've done bodybuilding.
yeah, I don't know. I think you got to be really have a lot of control. I mean, if you like tanning some buff chicken, like you might be putting like, wait, you're supposed to be all over the place. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just like just but
But I've never had an awkward experience. Not even in my first show, I've never had like it's even one show where they were tanning the guys and the girls in one room. So it's like you're trying to scooch on over to the next tent so you can dry off, and it's like, did the guys see me? But the guys weren't creepy. The tanning people weren't creepy. It's just like, look, we're trying to get this tan on so we can hop on stage. Everybody's trying to either qualify for nationals or get this pro card, depending on which organization you're competing in. It's amazing.
yeah, because I think it's very professionalism. If you do it
Yes.
long enough, I know first timers, it's going to be experience, especially that tanning solution. It's very cold. It's cold. It's cold as ice. You know how it
And just
was
like some of the positions, they're like, okay, bend over,
being over.
like the bikini pose. I'm like, huh? But always professional, never awkward.
Yeah, I know one lady who I met. She does tanning. Is Shawnte Hinton. She does tanning back scenes. A couple other competitors they do. They work for a lady. Interview Sheena Williamson. She also works with tanning, and it's an experience, especially for your first time, as I said earlier. And it's good that these people are professional and they probably know how to help people that first timers that come in there. They're nervous because you're butt naked. There's a bunch of guys with the dinglings hanging out.
Yeah.
And you gotta I don't know. Again, I have to make my crown shot here. I am a pervert. I'll be like scratching my head like
I mean, I'm
especially
quite sure there's some people that take their peaks or whatever if you can, but for the most part, like it's never nothing like someone's trying to like see around the 10 or anything like that, or they pulling you up on the outside like, hey, I saw what you're working with, Never, I haven't experienced it anyway.
yeah. That's the thing is this. So okay, so that was your first time. What was division you were starting
I
in?
started in bikini. I started bikini, and the training for that. Oh my gosh. Because like I said, I've been a track lead, my track a track athlete my entire life, and I was a sprinter, so I had a lot of muscle on my legs. So for me to get down in bikini to do that, the cardio that I had to do, the hit workouts that I had to do, and it was just like I gotta come down, and I'm just like I was miserable. I'm not gonna lie. Love the bikini look. Don't get me wrong. But for me to get down to that size and try to get the muscle off of my legs after being a sprinter and training lower body 3 times a week for most of my life, it was very, very difficult for me. But I was like, hey, I don't see me doing figure. I don't want to do physique or bodybuilding. I guess bikini is the closest thing, that I would want to do. So that's what I chose to do at the time.
Yeah, because I remember this guy. He was a long time ago about how he used to work. Some of the track teams, and y'all sprint girls, y'all be thick as a motherfucker. That's truth of
Yes,
it. Y'all
yes.
because you need that
Wellness.
muscle.
We
To,
had the wellness look, the thick legs, the booty, all of that. That's what we look like.
yeah,
Especially you see the pro athletes, they're thick on the lower half. It's all muscle.
and also there's quite a few bodybuilders who started out in track. Mira
Did.
Ash, Linda Murray. Quite a few. I think some others. I know one lady I talked to,
Mhm.
Florencia Hunt. She is IFB figure pro and also a Master Olympic qualified athlete. She
Yeah.
even competed at Olympia.
Mm.
In the
Well,
Olympics.
Sid was a
Olympics.
track athlete.
Hmm?
Sid
Yeah, Sid, Sid,
talks about
remember
it all the
Sid.
time.
Yeah, Sid. Remember one thing people didn't recognize before she did the was it Survivor years ago.
Mm.
And that was when she the muscles that we got our attention. Now look at her now. She is top in the world, 8-time champion, and a top promoter. Amazing lady. I appreciate her support my content too. So that experience for you, that was what was that like? That first time on stage, yeah, you're halfway butt naked. You dipped in tanning and baby oil. You got to walk on stage in front of a bunch of people, and you got to.
Um. So at the time, I didn't know anything about opposing coach either. At my first show, I'm not. Oh my god! I should have sent you a picture of my first show. I'm not gonna lie. I worst look ever. Of course, that's what you want anyway. Your first look should always be your worst look because the goal is always to step on stage better than you did the previous show. But I had no makeup on. The girl that did my hair, I did not like it. I did not have a posing coach. I was just getting up there off of some YouTube videos, just winging it. Like, if you see my first show compared to my most recent show, everybody, is that the same girl? Like, it's no way. It's literally like night and day, but it was very, very terrifying. And I have anxiety. So me hopping up on stage, I had no family or friends in the audience. I knew nobody backstage. I think I came dead last. I'm going to admit I came dead last. And I'm not ashamed of that because it allowed me to grow over the years as far as presentation, as far as my posing, the suit colors, like everything. You just learn a little bit each show and you just get better and better. And now I'm looking at my most recent shows and I'm like, I look good.
It's like it's an evolution of any athlete. You started. Remember when you first started running track?
Hmm.
You wasn't as fast as some of the other girls, but it took time and it's the training, the
Exactly.
practicing, and also knowing how to move. Because even though I know quite a few of the ladies who they make fun a little bit of your bikini, of the bikini girls, because you just gotta walk, flap your hair, and stick your butt out. That's about it. But it's every division has their movements, their posing, their style. Like one is different from the other, but yet it's about you as an athlete as you grow over time.
Exactly.
So okay, so what was the what didn't you transition from to bikini to wellness?
When they announced that wellness was coming to the US, I think we were just coming out of COVID. Um, and I told my coach at the time, I said I want to do wellness, and he really really wanted me to stay with bikini, and I'm like the amount of cardio that I got to keep doing in the hit. I knew that if I had stayed in bikini, I probably would have wound up quitting because of the workouts that I had to do because I put on muscle fairly easily. Like when I come down, these shoulders are boulders. The judges are like, okay, you can chill on the shoulders. Like I just went to the doctors a few weeks ago, and the lady said, "You work out?" I said, "And do." So it's relatively easy for me to put on muscle, but I could not lift like I was used to doing, all throughout college and even after because I couldn't put on the muscle because I had to stay small. So I told him, I was like, I really, really want to do wellness. So of course now I got to try to transition from bikini and grow back into how I used to look and get this wellness look, which is still like I'm still trying to get there, but I'm further along than what I was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's a process because you know what, the looks is totally different. Even though is again they do share some similarities, bikini and wellness, as I call them, the TNA division. That's what they are, and but they do share certain things, but it's different because if you look at the wellness division, because it was very popular in Brazil, it came over here. You have to
Hmm.
have those, as we talk about sometimes. You have to have those dominant Afro aesthetics. You have to have the bigger hips, the thicker thighs.
Yep.
Your proportions should be uneven, kind of like you can be
Yes.
slender
Yes.
at top. It's
Yes.
like it's like being a bodybuilder at the bottom, a bikini compared to the top.
Exactly. Asymmetrical. They want you to be asymmetrical. And it's one of the few divisions where you have to be asymmetrical. Bikini, symmetrical. Figure, symmetrical. Most other divisions want you to be symmetrical, whereas wellness is the outlier. Your lower body has to overpower your upper body. Yes, I can still train my upper body like I'm bikini, But when it comes to the legs and the glutes, oh no, you need to put some weight on the bar.
Yeah, I know a couple ladies who they were in bodybuilding and in physique, and then in figure and went over even fitness went over to wellness, but then they didn't do as well, and they went back to the divisions because I think
Mhm.
it's about how your body is developing, how it grows. You
Yeah.
know, that's why the Brazilians and many of the ladies from South America be so dominant. It's a lot harder for those women who are not who have those don't have those natural Afro aesthetics. That's
Yeah.
why Brazilians and Latinas do so well, but there's some ladies who look pretty good. I know was it a few weeks ago they had Arnold's Classic, and I saw one of the ladies that won. I mean, and
Oh, Rayani?
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know there was like a they took a I think one lady I followed who won the fitness champion, Michelle Marseille. She had posted like her, Rihanna, and Ashley, and if you look at Rihanna and Ashley, it's just so not so much of a difference, but that's tiny bit. And you look at Michelle, just a totally different level. Well, we have
Hmm.
your guest here. Shout out to my man KL, the one who says, what's happening? Not much, brother. What about you? My man KL, he also does content on ladies. He's more a fan of the women with muscle than he is about the sport. So yeah, you also a natural competitor, which is I think is a lot tougher because with natural you can't use performance enhancers, you can't use PEDs, you can't use any kind of drugs for growth. You doing it all just on your own.
Hmm. I do. I take my regular supplements, like your iron, your potassium, things like that. But other than that, I take absolutely. Of course, you take your little fat burners, things like that. But I choose to be a natural athlete. I don't see that changing in the future. Um, but yeah, it's very very difficult. I don't like how some people say that those that use PEDs is using a shortcut because we all put in the same amount of work. So I do want to make that clear. I have respect for all bodybuilders, regardless of if they're natural or not. But for me, like I feel like my body will go crazy. Like my body goes crazy with the simplest of outliers, whether it's allergies or something like that. So I feel like if I put something in my body, it's really gonna go crazy. So for me, I just choose to stay a natural wellness athlete.
Because naturally, it does take a lot more time to put on muscle compared to the enhanced competitors. Because I think it takes maybe a good 6 months to put on just 5 pounds of muscle,
Yeah.
compared to somebody who's enhanced. It might take them maybe 6 weeks to put on 5 pounds of muscle because they're using them. And here's the thing about steroids: people got to remember that it's not the thing that makes your bodybuilder. It helps you in your recovery. It helps
Exactly.
you, like because when you're building muscle, it's like it's tearing the muscles and you're wearing your
Yeah.
body down, and it helps in that. But yeah, it's always going back because the bodybuilding has that stink eye compared to other sports where they use performance enhancers.
Yeah.
Steroids is about in everything.
And I think that's where some people get it mixed up. They say, "Oh, PEDs like really help." Yes, PEDs help, but it's because it helps you recover a lot faster, so you can train that muscle group, a little bit more. As opposed to me, I might have to wait 2 or 3 days to train the same muscle group that someone might be able to train in like a day or two. You know what I mean? So it. But for me, like I said, because when I was in college, I trained legs 3 times a week, regardless of how my legs was feeling. Like my college coach, his name was Coach Bush. Oh my God, he was crazy. he was he was absolutely insane. But we were training legs. Us sprinters were training legs 3 times a week. So I've built up a tolerance for that over the years. But for those that's not used to training that way and then just getting into bodybuilding, then yes, you might have to start off training legs maybe just twice a week, and it's going to take you a little bit longer to develop that muscle. So it's all about the recovery. That's all.
Yeah, here's a comment from my man Kia. He says, why you it's always got to explain that? Just say I make content. Well, brother, sometimes people might reach out to you, and then they might talk to some things because you, like I say, some things you may not get as easy as I do, and But he's a pretty good dude. I would give a shot. He also does interviews with ladies from OCB, NPC, and IFBB. But I talk you up, but also sometimes he's not as together as me. But that's the thing. That's what separates us. But he's still a good dude. He said that he can be a little bit a hater sometimes. But you know what? I need his hate. It's my
He's coming
energy.
on to pick
Use it.
on you. That's all that is. He's just
Yeah,
picking on
yeah.
you.
Also, he says this. He says the wellness girls quads are incredibly huge. Do you think your quads could be huge, Shawnte?
So actually, that was one of the feedbacks from the judges in my shows from last year is that I needed to grow my quads. My hamstrings has always been there. Like I don't know what it is. People are always amazed at my hamstrings, but the judges' feedback was to grow my quads. So that's I've really been hitting them hard since last like August, I would say. Um, so before my knee injury in my check-ins, my coach was just like, bruh, we really making some progress. Like they really getting up there now. They may not be as big as I would like them to if I, came out of my off season and started prep, as opposed to if I stayed in off season this entire year and don't start prep until next year. But we have definitely made some progress since last August on my quads, and I'm really excited to cut down and see how they're gonna look. I'm excited.
Yeah, you want that nice, because one thing I think with some of these, you want that nice connection with your hamstring tie-ins. You want that good overall bubbly look, and also
Yes.
you want that, that is again with wellness. It's about having the bigger quads and the hips.
Hmm.
It searches are different. So, folks, we're gonna do this while we got Shawnte here. We are going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, her links description of this live. You want to check her out. You want to support her. Reach out to me. I know some of you guys, you're more about the big buff muscular woman, but she's a lovely lady. And but again, guys, this is what I'm gonna say to you, and this is not for you, Shawnte. Guys, I know you guys out there and you have a particular type of mentality. So guys, no weird stuff, nothing strange, nothing funky, nothing, don't be saying click, click, click. Hey, stop it. Don't do it. What's wrong with you?
Listen,
Yeah,
that comes with the territory.
yeah, I know. So, but the thing is it's just, because I think a lot of guys, is we know there's this one side to it. There's the guys like myself who, like, as I said again, I am a typical crap of criminal. I love you, ladies. It's just something about y'all. It excites me. And there's the other guys who say, yeah, this chick trying to be a man. Yeah, real Buffy. But those are the same guys be saying that shit beyond. I like this shit.
I've heard that quite a bit, especially when I start cutting down. And guys that may have tried to, take me out before is in my DMs like, "Don't cut down anymore," or "I liked you better when you were bigger," or "Why you trying to look like a man?" I'm like, "Duh, I don't think I asked your opinion."
See, right here, folks, I don't see nothing manly about him.
So
Maybe
it's
you're.
kind of it's a little difficult to date someone that's not in the bodybuilding world or that don't really understand it. That's why if I start seeing someone, I'm like, what do you? I pull up. What do you think about this bodybuilding physique? What do you think about the off season physique? What do you think about the sport? Period. Because I need to know if when I start cutting down, you won't start saying negative things. You know?
Yeah, I like this. Off season LA look beautiful, but when y'all compare it to season, there's an old smoke saying, "We LA's rock hard, we're rock hard." But that's everybody has a different taste when, especially look
Yeah.
at it. Shout out to my man KL. He says this. He says he says, he just wants to say that at the time, yes, because you know what, I'm good at what I do. So, folks, instead again, we're going to jump into a social media for a little bit, and if you want to follow the links description, but guys, be respectful. So here we are. And there we go. And here she is. And this is, I think you competed last year.
Yes.
And this was one of your shows. This was a regional show that you did. And that was in
The first picture.
yeah.
Yes, that was the DC Pro Am. So funny story, we always show the good of bodybuilding, right? Because that's what we want social media to see. So, and I was just talking to one of my teammates about that. Actually that week I had like I don't know what was going on with my body. I kept having panic attacks. My heart was really racing. So at the DC Pro Am, I didn't have bring in my best physique that I know that I could have because of health issues that I was having throughout the week. But all you see on stage, you see the smiles.
Yeah. And I see these
I got
lovely
up there. I
ladies.
did what I was supposed to do. I don't think I looked too bad, but I certainly could have looked better. But it just goes to show there's so many obstacles leading up to our shows that we don't really showcase. Like we always show the good, but there behind the scenes, sometimes we are struggling with some real things.
Yeah. I see you hanging out with Method Man. Yeah, I got a lady. She's a friend of mine. She loves meth. She's a big meth fan. And who are these lovely ladies? They are
So
beautiful.
those are some of my friends, some of my teammates.
Uh,
We went to a party in DC and he was there. and
Ah,
we had a
cool.
chance to sit in VIP.
Ooh, 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 yeah, yo. You find women always get opportunity. Here she is. She gets you got to buy spikes, shot put shoes, cleats, sneakers for a grown man feet. So Shawnte got a man at home. Who's the
I
man?
wish this is my 12-year-old son.
Well, he is your man because you know what? It's like this: a boy's best friend is mother. That was my best friend, my mom. You know.
Yeah, he's an amazing kid.
Yeah, he's 12. He's not he's still growing up. Remember, gotta beat him down. Gotta beat him down. Can't let him get too big, gotta put his place. And she is training. I mean, and you mentioned about your knee. What happened? What's the deal with it?
So I have no clue. I went to the Arnold early part of May, and about 2 days after I came back from the Arnold, my knee swelled up really, really bad. And I've been back and forth to the doctors for like the past month. I've been on crutches. I haven't really been able to train. So when I go to the gym, I've just been, like on the battle ropes and the infinity rope pull just to kind of like get my heart rate up so that my, my body weight don't go up too much. But mostly I've just been able to work upper body and then work on the ropes as far as cardio. But luckily I got an MRI. There are no tears or anything like that. I'm in PT. So I'm trying to get my knee back together. Um, and we're going to see what happens over the next week or so that maybe I can hop back into prep and hop into a show this year. But today was actually the first day I've been able to walk without crutches in the past month.
Yeah.
So
Here,
that is
here she is. Here she's
progress.
talking about the thing this is a video I got attention that I saw her about doing.
Stage ain't going nowhere. The stage is not going nowhere. If the judges told you that you need to come in more condition, especially if that means bringing in more muscle, then you need to take the time and the proper off season to build the muscle, especially if you are a natural athlete, because it's going to take a little bit longer. Sometimes it could mean taking an entire year off and not competing at all. If you are injured, now I'm talking about me, so you ain't got to talk about you. If you are injured, take the time to nurse yourself, get back healthy, then you can focus on getting back on stage. Bodybuilding is way too expensive to keep on hopping on stage, looking damn near the same. Now, I get it, we all get that little ish trying to get that pro card, but you ain't gonna never get it if you don't do what you're supposed to do. The stage ain't going nowhere. I don't know who else.
That's a good fair point
Exactly.
because I think some people they desire that attention that brings to the stage. Here she is with her man here. He's doing push-ups. Her, there you go, boy. Get down, boy. Teach you what. Get him out there young. Get down, boy. Get up, boy. Get down. Get up. Get down. Yeah, but yeah, he's look like he's a healthy young boy. You should be proud of
Yeah,
yourself.
he is. He's an amazing kid.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's a process of training, working out, dieting. It could be, and also be a natural part. Now you do OCB, and what got you into OCB?
So I don't really have a specific organization that I want to compete in. It's mainly just OCB and NPC. But I think the very first show that I did was an NPC show. And then I found a coach that was up here. And I talked to my best friend at the time. I said, hey, there's a coach a little bit closer to me. It looks like they have like group training classes and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, yeah, go for it. You know what I'm saying? If you can find some, yeah, that's me injured. That's the only thing that I can do. Sitting on the floor with my busted knee. But I started training with that coach up here, and he had introduced me to OCB. And I did a bikini OCB show in Richmond, Virginia, if I'm not mistaken. Almost went pro in that show, but I just missed it by a spot. And then a few months later, I did another NPC show, the Baltimore Gladiator. And at that show, I had actually qualified for bikini for nationals for NPC. So I was trying to get ready for that. And then I think the next year is when COVID had hit. And then I got big.
Yeah, COVID was a tough time. That was when my mom, she was already sick dealing with some stuff, and then she got it, and then it went long before she passed. It was a tough year for a lot of people. Here she is. She was at the Arnold just early last
Yeah,
month.
2 days before I hurt my knee.
Maybe that's where you hurt your knee at.
Three, two, one.
You strong. what's going through your head doing that?
I was just like, just try to hold on as long as possible. It was 200 pounds on each side. And but it was
I mean,
burning my hand. Like I don't think it was so much the weight, but it was slipping out of my hands and it was starting to burn. So I had to like let it go. I was like, oh my gosh, this burns. I'm good. I think I held on for like a minute and 10 seconds.
that's pretty good. Like I said, you strong. You strong woman. You want to went back in the day, like my mama and my grandpa used to tell me used to pull behind a mule and have babies in the field and go back the next day.
And I wasn't even going to do it. It was just like a random guy that came up to me and he like dared me to do it. I was standing there with one of my friends that drove up with me and he like dared me to do it. I was like, nah, I'm not trying to look crazy. And then after some coercion, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I mean, so you gotta careful. Some people get you in some shit you don't want to be into. Here's also
Exactly.
here's also a little. If she's talking,
Definitely gonna have a story attached to it. For like a month and a half, I had just been getting hit back to back with so much crap. And I don't know what the hell is going on because I'm usually pretty healthy. But for me being sick, and I don't know where the hell this knee injury came from. Like my knee is literally swollen. And I've been on so many different medications the past month. Nothing crazy, but some of it is causing me to retain water. At one point, my weight shot up and then it shot back down. And it's discouraging. Like I'm up here stalking my friends' pages, trying to stay motivated. Because I feel like I'm letting myself down, and I feel like I'm letting down, people that say that I inspire them, and the people that are, constantly messaging me and stuff like that. So it's just a little bit discouraging, and I'm trying to work through it. Um, but yeah, this prep is definitely going to have a story.
It definitely is.
But I'm trying to get healthy. I'm trying to focus on my health right now. Luckily, I have a great coach. So he ain't said nothing too crazy. He's like, look, your ass need to get healthy. The doctor's like, your ass need to get healthy. Sit your ass down and come back 100%. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. It doesn't feel right. I'm not the type of person that can sit around, but I go to the gym. I sit my little hind parts on the floor and I do the little infinity rope for my cardio because I can't just not do anything. And I don't need to do too much upper body because they said, my upper body is pretty cool. It's the legs that I need. I can't use my legs. But yeah, this story gonna be something else.
it's that old saying: if it was for bad luck, you have no luck at all.
Yeah. The past couple of months it's just been. I've never had bronchitis before, and starting in February, I had bronchitis, and it made it very, very difficult for me to try to work out because I couldn't breathe. And then right after that, when that started getting better, then I had the knee injury. So it's been like 2 months that I haven't been able to consistently work out. So I'm like trying to stay in contact with my coach, like, talking about the show because I was actually supposed to compete next month. And he was just like, yeah, we already know we're going to scratch that show. We're just going to focus on you getting healthy and we'll let the body decide when it's ready to hop on stage.
Yeah, 'cause I know you competed at the Ben Weeder Natural Show. I know a couple ladies. I interviewed them. Sable Stevens, she won women's physique, and also Hannah Marie, who she
I didn't
competed.
compete last year, but I competed the year before last.
Oh, you should come year full last. Okay, yeah, I
Yes.
want to make sure that.
Mhm.
So and that's still there because that gives you enough time if you want to give you time to cover this. Natural's really getting a lot more attention, especially in the IFBB.
Yes.
There's a show in Pittsburgh where it's the Pittsburgh Pro, but it's a natural pro qualifier.
I
You
wanted
know,
to do that show so bad this year.
well, like I said again, it's going to be there next year. If you don't get your pro card
Yeah.
this year, it'll be there next year. Like I said, it's not convenient for you. Like my man has a question for you. He says this. He says, out of curiosity, where you from, Shawnte?
I'm from Baltimore,
She's
born and
from Be
raised.
More.
hmm
Be More. Yeah,
Usually when people hear my voice, they're like, I can tell your voice. You're from Baltimore, aren't you?
when I was growing up, because now I'm from North Carolina, and if you hear me talking, where do you think I'm from?
I have no clue. See, I don't know the different areas and accents.
Yeah,
To
but
me,
that's the thing is,
everybody almost sounds the same unless you come from like an island or something like that. I
yeah,
don't, I
because when
don't
I was
really
coming.
hear accents from the US.
Yeah, because when I was coming up, I'm like I said, people asking me, "Where you from?" Because you sound like you from are you from Jersey? Are you from like Chicago? One time I was at this club, and this girl asked me, where you from? And I said, I'm from Jersey. Actually, I was born in North Carolina. My parents, they moved up to Jersey with the rest with us. Then my parents broke up. And then my dad stayed in Jersey. We went down here in North Carolina with my mom. Actually, my parents were married for 55 years. My dad was living in New Jersey, and my mom was down here with us, but he left us here. But yeah, I think dialects talk. My man, he's from New York. The New York guys, you got activity, like New York, New
So
York
the
City.
language is different, but as far as like hearing it in people's voice, I can't really pick up on it.
Well, if you come down here where I'm at, you can tell the difference because, like, when I say fire, and then you hear somebody else around here says fall. When we say bar, they'll say like bear, they say bar. Like you a bear? You want beer? Say no bar. Say bar. Say what beer? What? It's a beer. Yeah, you can't. So that gets the differences. This is for shout out to my man KL. He says, yes, I could imagine it's tough to be someone who competes and vice versa.
It is. I'm quite sure it is. For the most part, I haven't really like dated or anything like that, or had a lot of like different friends in bodybuilding. I just recently, maybe in like the past year or two, gotten more bodybuilding friends. But before that, I pretty much felt like I was by myself. Outside of my coach, that is, like, our team didn't really like get together or anything like that, or come to like each other's shows and stuff like that, unless they were competing. And I've been competing since 2018. So just in the past year or two, I would say 2 years, I've come into contact with a wonderful group of people that are like so supportive, and like even as far as like just platonic friendships and trying to go through a prep yourself, or your friends going through a prep, or you're in off season and they're in prep, and you got to be mindful of when they got to eat, what they can eat. You can't go out and do certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult for friendships as well as relationships.
Yeah, because it's one thing because this sport can take a lot of your time. It's also a sport where it's mentally, emotionally, physically,
Yes.
financially, spiritually draining because you're part of, like, I would say, the 1%. Because bodybuilding is a stream sport, and the everyday person don't understand it because you need that time to like your friends might, you can be more there. Like, hey girl, we're going to DC, we're going to party, party with Method Man. Say, nah, I can't. I gotta go to sleep at 8 o'clock. I gotta get up in the morning. Say, girl, we gotta say, nah, I can't do that because you need that. The time is valuable for you in your process as you grow and you train. And also the discipline to have to be a
Hmm.
bodybuilder because most people things like food can be a distraction. And you talk about your coach. Who's your coach and how long y'all been working together?
So I just joined Game Time Fitness, Coach B. He's in Capitol Heights. I just joined his team in August. So it hasn't even been a full year that I've been with Game Time Fitness. So he's a wonderful coach though. Like, I thought he was going to be like a little military guy,
Like,
like super super strict. Because I hear he
okay.
runs a strict program. I hear he runs a strict program. I'm like, you know what? I need that. I need that push. I need somebody that's not going to take no crap off of me. That's not going to let me do what I want, say what I want, and walk over top of them. It's going to be like, no, this is what you need to do, else your ass is off the team. But he has been absolutely amazing with helping me grow, as well as being mindful of the illnesses that I've been going through over the past couple of months.
Yeah, that's good that you don't want a coach to be too soft, but you want a coach to be too hard. What you want
Exactly.
is like one of my favorite movies is always gonna be the Rocky movies. And like you want Mickey say like rock, when you're falling down, you hear that little angel on your chest, on your shoulder, get up, you
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Mickey
and
Rourke.
I love that he's like so straightforward. I don't like the coaches that tell an athlete just any old thing just to either get that money or just to get them on stage. When I step on stage, I want to look the best that I could possibly look when I step on stage, not just oh, go ahead and just do the show. I don't want that. I want somebody to look at me and be like, damn, that's the same girl from last year. Like, there's no way she made that type of progress. Like, yes, that is the type of coach that I want. Not someone that's just going to throw me up on stage looking any old kind of way, or what. I need someone that's going to be real. Like, look, you're not ready. We reverse out. We gotta do some more growing. That's what I need. You know,
Mhm.
I don't want somebody that's going to be soft, like, oh, yeah, we can go ahead and still do the show just because you want to take my money. No, because realistically, coaches, this is your name that you're putting on stage. You know, when we tag out coaches and things like that, you don't want other athletes or other coaches like he really let that get on stage, and I don't want to get on stage looking like I did at my first show.
Yeah. We got a comment from man. Ka says this. He says, "Meth be working out. He could almost compete. Maybe he can afford it. He can do it if he afford it. Also, he says this. He says, that's good. He's doing push-ups at his age. How old is he now? Or she says he's 12.
Mhm.
And also, he says this. Shout out to my man. He says, what's a workout that intimidates you? If I could ask you that question.
Um, none.
Not
No,
scared.
no workout intimidates me.
Not
I
scared.
welcome
Not
it.
never scared.
I welcome it. Let's go. If I gotta
You
throw up afterwards, I'll throw up afterwards. No workout intimidates me. I thrive off of that. I might look at you crazy when you first tell me, but you best believe I'm going to try it. I love it. Like I was a tomboy growing up. I am not a girly girl. Yes, I might have a couple of pictures where I look a little dainty, but I I have been a tomboy my entire life. I've been an athlete my entire life. I'm going to get down and dirty. I will get through the mud.
well, from my experience, tom girls, y'all tomboys, y'all become pretty women. I mean,
Thank you.
and
Appreciate
and as
it.
my other guy would say, he would say this to you. He says, "I will tell you, Shawnte, you are beautiful." And that's the thing is that bodybuilding brings some healthy aspects to it: the dieting, the training. I know quite the average bodybuilders, the workouts I think some ladies will say the least favorite is always going to be leg day. And as a wellness competitor, leg day, that's your bread and butter. I know
Mhm.
it's like leg day is like remember the episode of, I know KL maybe repeating it because it's one of my favorite episodes on Chappelle's show when Dave Chappelle's playing Rick James and they meet, Charlie Murphy. It's true Hollywood stories. Charlie Murphy, they meet him and they invite him over to Eddie's house. Remember the first F your couch, Eddie Murphy, F your couch. Leg day for a bodybuilder is like when Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy are beating your legs. You're cold as ice. You never get your niggas money. You crawling out of the gym and you're crying. But for wellness
I
competitors,
love it.
you gotta love it because you know what?
I
That's the
love
thing
it.
is, I know everybody.
If I'm struggling to walk out the gym, I say, oh yeah, I killed that workout.
That's
I
that means
absolutely love it.
it's a quote from another classic movie. It was a good day and no one died.
And I never used to like upper body. I actually like upper body now. When I finally started seeing my arms take shape, I was like, I like that. And other people started noticing too. I'm like, okay, so I can do a full body workout.
Yeah, you got guys who say like, "Hey, Shawnte, you need a massage therapist, to work the shoulders there a little bit,
And I think the arms for the women, I think the arms is would be the most turn off for the guys that aren't into bodybuilding or aren't into fitness because it's like, why your arms look so hard? And
It's
I'm like, why are you
intimidating.
mad? Because my arm's bigger than yours.
It's because I'm a man. I used to have some muscles here somewhere, I used to,
They're
but
still
again,
there, trust me.
yeah, they're behind under this too. But I think I think we go back to how the idea of what's supposed to be. Your division is very feminine, but even I'm looking girls right now in wellness who are diesel as hell. You
Hmm.
know, look at women in other divisions where it has evolved over time. It's evolution. When I was into bodybuilding, you had women like Corey Everson, Bev Francis, then Linda Murray, and then particularly as I talked about earlier, Andrea Shaw. I got to give a shout out to Andrea, and also, Bad Rap. That is my friend's brand, Jolene and Eunice. They are known as the Bad Rap. As the moniker is big and defined, ripped and pumped, and we like the rip part. And a while back, this is what keeps me. This is what fuels me as a content maker, especially because people don't like the people pay attention to the guys more.
Hmm.
The guys, they get more attention because if you go with the pimping game, you're in Baltimore, you know about the pimping game, where the guys are the bottom bitch. They're the ones who get the attention, to get the money, get the opportunities. The women, y'all get short change. And my friend Eunice, she was at Olympia back in 2023. And I always want to bring this out because to quote my other half, he says, whenever you're good at something, never do it for free. And to me, this is a payment. I always want to bring this out. This is what keeps me going when someone like Andrea Shaw, my friend, she ran into Andrea and she this issue of muscle development. This is something I love to spring out anytime I interviews to tell people that know that who I am.
Mm-hmm.
She saw Andrea and she sent it to me just a week after my birthday. And what makes it so special, what as a content maker, what fuels me, because sometimes dealing with y'all women is a headache. I worked textiles with women, I worked in strip club with women. Y'all women are aggravating. If it wasn't for the fact that we wanted you, we wouldn't do without you. We do out women, but we can't. But when the champion tells me she appreciates what I do and she loves my support,
Mm,
that is fuel for me, and I
I,
really genuinely like that.
I love
Is it?
it.
Yeah. Is there anybody in the sport that you're a fan of that you admire their physique, their work ethic, just overall as an athlete?
This might sound cliche, but I would say Sydney. I've met her a couple of times, and when I say she will stand there and have a conversation with everyone as if you've known her your entire life, she is absolutely amazing. She is such a sweetheart. Like you would think, like some people when they get to a certain status, they get uptight, they put themselves on a pedestal. She does not do that. It's like, oh, the first 5 minutes you feel like that's your girlfriend for years. She's like so down to earth. And I know saying her name is like so cliche, but she is just so